Hey guys, so we're going to talk about last night's episode of the Vampire Diaries. I must say that ever since I saw last week's episode, I have been waiting for this week. Most of you guys know that I was very excited to see the Catherine Pierce, Elena Gilbert showdown, and you know, it wasn't all that I wanted it to be. I really wanted to see the smackdown from Catherine, but a few of you reminded me about the fact that Rebecca was there. So Rebecca really was kind of the great equalizer in this situation. I mean, no way Elena could have taken on Catherine by herself, but with Rebecca by her side, Elena definitely had a fighting chance. So the two of them basically stumble across Catherine on their road trip through America to find her. They stop in this small town just because Elena's tired, and eventually somebody calls Elena Catherine and they realize that Catherine must be nearby. I must say, throughout this whole episode, I really had a hard time getting a hold on Catherine's motives and whether or not she could be trusted. So once the girls find her, you know, they of course try to manhandle the cure out of her. Meanwhile, Stefan and Damon have wised up. Stefan has come to Damon's rescue, and they've kind of followed the trail and found the girls in this little town. Their goal is to find the cure first so that Elena can take it, whereas Elena's goal obviously is to find it so that she can give it to Rebecca and she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. So it turns out that Catherine, though, wants to kind of trade the cure with Klaus. She wants to give it to Klaus so that she can get her freedom, so she can stop running. I must say, the very best part of this episode, of really the last season, is the fact that Elijah was in this episode. I mean, he just is one of my favorite characters on this show, and one, again, that I wish was on every single week. But he shows up in town because Catherine's called him. It turns out that the two of them are kind of in a relationship, because obviously remember that he was in love with her back when she was Katarina Petrova. But Elena goes to meet him, right? Because she doesn't realize that Catherine has a meeting with Elijah. She just knows she's got a meeting with someone named M. So she thinks she can pass herself off as Catherine. She gets to the meeting, Elijah shows up, he grabs her to kiss her. So all you people out there that have been shipping Elena and Elijah, there you go. And he kisses her, and then, you know, he realizes that it's Elena. I love their relationship too, so I really enjoyed, there was just a really great kind of conversation and scene between her and Elijah, where he's seeing the new Elena, where he basically realizes that she's turned off her humanity, and he's not all that really thrilled and excited with her, you know, and he even says to her, I hope that you'll be able to find your way back one day, because it would be a waste for, you know, the world to miss out on, you know, the compassionate person that you were. But, you know, tough as nails, emotionless Elena doesn't want to hear any of it. She does mention to him that Catherine killed her brother, and that was, of course, something that Catherine didn't tell Elijah. And Elijah wasn't happy about that because he knew that that was Elena's only family. Now, meanwhile, while the two of them are chatting away, you know, Stefan goes off to try to find them, while Damon, Catherine, and Rebecca, you know, go back to Catherine's house to get the cure from her. And she basically fools them into thinking that she's given them the cure. So she grabs the cure, she goes to try to run away. Rebecca stops her, and so she tosses this vial in the air. Rebecca grabs it, and she goes to take it. Damon's hurt, and he's kind of like, no, wait, stop. But he's not really protesting all that much, especially once, you know, Rebecca kind of tells him, give me one good reason why I shouldn't take it. You know you want Elena to stay a vampire, so the cure is mine. And Damon doesn't protest, you know, in that moment he hesitates and she takes the cure. At least we think it's the cure, right? Stefan walks in just at the moment when she's taking it, and he just was crushed, basically, just he's yelling no, and you get that he's just wounded. But eventually, of course, they realize that it's not the cure, because this is Catherine we're dealing with, and so she's fooled them, and she's gone off to find where she's really hidden the cure. The best bit, right, I got a little bit of my Catherine and Elena showdown, because Catherine shows up in the middle of, you know, Elijah and Elena's conversation, and basically just snaps Elena's neck. And it was just yes, I'll take that. I will take that. But Elijah's pretty much done, I think, because, you know, I think Elijah was in love with Katarina Petrova, and he's basically trying to find her somewhere buried deep under, you know, the whole Catherine Pierce mask. But I guess that's the question I had, in the beginning when I was saying I wasn't sure about what Catherine was doing. I'm not sure if she's telling the truth. You know, he really doubts her, and he tells her, I don't think you love me, I think you're using me. as your middleman, like to take the cure to my brother and kind of broker your deal for you. But in the end, she ends up giving him the cure and telling him kind of like, the ball's in your court. I really do love you and want to kind of find myself again type of thing. But again, it's Catherine, so it's like, can we trust her? Yeah, probably not. Who knows? Now, back in Mystic Falls, we've got the whole Caroline and Niklaus adventure. So, of course, Klaus got stabbed with the white oak stake by Silas in last week's episode. So as this episode opens, we see him in the house and he's like in pain and he's like trying to reach for something in his back. And eventually we get that he's got a splinter from the stake inside of him that he's trying to dig out. He can't get it. Caroline shows up, but in the end we realize that it's Silas. You know, like he tricks him into thinking that it's Caroline. Yeah, you just get that Silas can be anybody, and that's really not a good thing. Klaus does call Caroline on the phone, so she actually does show up at one point and, you know, tries to help him, but she can't find anything. Like, they are seriously digging in his back with, like, pliers, and it was like, there were sound effects, and it just was not good for me. But the best part was the two of them get into this argument. They start arguing, right? Because she's like, okay, I'll help you get it out, but you've got to promise me that you'll let Tyler come back. And she basically goes to sit on the couch with her cell phone. Like, whenever you're ready to tell me that, I will help you. Meanwhile, Klaus is in pain, and he's like, I can feel it moving towards my heart. Please help me. And so yeah, they get into this argument. It was just great. I mean, they're just so cute. So they start arguing because he's just like, you will not, you know, put me in this position to try to force me to do something. And she starts yelling at him and he's yelling back. And then all of a sudden it's like, he snaps out of it. And then he tells her like, wait, like the pain is gone. Like it wasn't real. The whole time it wasn't real. It was just Silas had gotten into his head to make him think that he was in this pain when really he wasn't. So in arguing with her, she really kind of snaps him out of it. And so I think, again, that just takes them to another level of closer to them kind of being in a relationship. And they talk about friendship a lot in this episode, like we're friends and this is what we would do if you were my friend, then this is what friends do type of thing. You know, she's kind of trying to teach him that. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to see where the two of them go after this episode. There was lots of Salvatore brother bonding in this episode, which was kind of cool. I always love when that happens. At the point when Stefan thinks that Rebecca has taken the cure, he just lays into Damon and it's just like, did you even try? And the truth, of course, is that he didn't. He hesitated because, again, for a second, he thinks maybe I do like her better this way type of thing. In the end, though, Damon does admit that he hesitated and also I think comes to the realization that I don't like her like this. We need to fix Elena because this emotionless Elena is not a good thing. But Stefan really kind of comes to a conclusion and is kind of like, look, we're always on Catherine about what she's been doing, you know, over and over again throughout her history. But look at us. Like for the past, you know, 150 years, we've been doing the same thing over and over again and I'm tired of doing it. So basically, I'm here to help find the cure for Elena, and then once we get it, I'm gonna let her go and I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go off and live my life type of thing. Now, I think we all know that's not gonna happen because the show would be over if Stefan left, because he's my favorite, so we can't have that happen. Stefan, my love. So, I don't know what's gonna have to happen. We're gonna have to get it together, but he kind of made that kind of declaration, so I guess we'll see. There was a scene at the very end, right, where Elena calls the boys to come to this diner in this little town, and she basically tells them, I don't want to take the cure. You need to tell me that you're going to respect my wishes. And the boys both say no, you know, and Stefan tries to tell her, like, look, when I was, you know, off being the Ripper, you stuck by me, you wouldn't give up on me, I'm not going to do that to you. And, you know, there's a bit of you that almost thinks she hears him, but then this child, you guys, she gets up and the waitress comes over to fill her coffee cup and she just snaps this woman's neck, just kills this woman. And so she tells him there's going to be consequences. If you don't do what I want, more people are going to die. There are going to be hundreds and hundreds of bodies if you guys don't stop. So it's just kind of like, this woman is off her rocker. And somebody made a really good comment, I think, in my YouTube video last week, or even on Tumblr somewhere, but they need to just lock this woman in the basement. They need to bleed her out, and they need to lock that ass downstairs in the Salvatore basement. We need to get on that, because that's just... They gotta do something about her before she does go crazy. It's sad though, because it's like there's this part of Elena that's so free free, and you like to see her kind of be free and not care, but at the same time it's like you know that when her emotions do come back on, she's going to be devastated at some of the things that she's done, you know, because she's Elena and compassion is definitely her forte, you know, when she's herself. So I'm hoping that we are going to solve this whole emotionless Elena thing really soon. The other thing I was going to say too is throughout this episode, it felt to me like there were moments where, you know, I don't know, where it felt like they were kind of really breaking through, and really specifically Stefan. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Stelena, you guys, I promise. I understand the Delena thing, I totally do. I'm not just saying this because of that, but there were several moments with her and Stefan in the last couple of episodes where it's like he says something and she has this look on her face that almost makes you think that he's getting through to her, and then she does something crazy. So it's part of me just wonders if she's not like fighting against, you know, if her nature is not kind of fighting against itself. So there was another scene between Elijah and Rebecca that was interesting as well, as she really kind of tells him why she wants to take the cure, and I really thought he was going to go ahead and give it to her at that moment. But it looks like they're all headed back to Mystic Falls, so I'm really excited, hoping that Elijah is sticking around for a little bit more. They're headed back to Mystic Falls, and I guess we're going to see what's going to happen, because once Klaus gets the cure, of course, he's going to want to give it to Silas. So I guess we're going to see what will happen. I thought it was a really good episode, and I am definitely excited about what's coming. I feel like this momentum is building, and we are building towards something, so I'm excited to kind of see that happen. Okay guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys again soon.